All right, so Christina just kind of hit on it just a second ago. The implied options move for Nvidia after earnings about 7.5%, either to the upside or to the downside. Obviously, either move would have broader market implications. Also, the market given the Nvidia basically a pass for that $5.5 billion charge, even though it's $5.5 billion. In your mind, what are your expectations for not only Nvidia, but also the market reaction?
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about it. I mean, obviously, there's two main things the market wants to hear about. One is AI demand. We've seen a rebound in these AI names over the last month plus, and so that narrative is really important for the market going forward. And then on the other hand, they're linked directly to trade with China. We've obviously had these trade headwinds, so I think that any progress on that front will be really important. And obviously, they're working on circumventing some of those rules. The Trump administration seems more willing at least to work with Nvidia than some other tech companies that have come in their sightlines. So I'm optimistic. I think it's going to be a good quarter, and I think that the guidance for the full year will be even better and enough to get the market behind this AI theme again.
Yeah, a lot of people worried about that guidance for the current quarter, especially. What are the market implications? We just touched on what Nvidia and what you expect from Nvidia. But what about the broader market implications? If you look since the start of Q2, which basically aligns from when the president announced tariffs, what he calls Liberation Day, you see tech and communication services both up double digits, leading the markets. This Nvidia report, does that extend that move to the upside, or does it put more money in other parts of the market, maybe secondary plays?
I think that's the big story of the last couple of months, right? Kind of quietly, tech and comm services and some of these AI names have been relative laggards, not just this year, but prior to the election. Since the middle of 2024, you'd had some cyclical leadership, financials, industrials, and over the last 6 weeks, you've really seen the AI trade come back. So I think Nvidia, I think the narrative is going to be exciting, and I think it's going to put some wind in that sails. And for the market implications, I mean, for anybody that's invested in these cap-weighted indexes, it's massive because these names are still so huge, even as they pulled back a little bit from all-time highs and concentrations. So it's massive for the market, and it's massive for this narrative around AI, even if materially not all that much changes.
You know, Ross, you kind of hit on something else I was going to ask you. Even as we've seen this huge rally for tech and comm services, in Q2, we're seeing leadership, if you look year to date, from industrials and financials. So it seems like money is going to different parts of the market, maybe a more balanced market than we've seen in the past when it comes to the flows, at least in recent weeks. What do you think happens to those two trades, industrials and financials? Again, industrials year to date, the best performing sector.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of secular tailwinds behind both. I think the broader kind of cyclical trade has been on since we pulled back on some of the trade war rhetoric and paused a lot of the tariffs. You know, financials have a very, very clean link to this administration in terms of deregulation and some changes that they can make, maybe an uptick in M&A that we've seen a little bit of, not as much as I think the administration would have liked. And then industrials, you know, we had secular tailwinds in terms of aerospace and defense spending abroad, reindustrialization of the U.S., onshoring, all of these big themes linked to a lot of the big industrial powerhouses. So I think both of those trades can continue. I would lean high quality in all of these just because of the cross currents and headwinds. But
is there one of those sectors that you like better than the others? Because, I mean, it's fair to say all four of them look good. But is there one that you think looks better right now? And again, we obviously have a big market event coming up after the bell with Nvidia earnings.
Yeah, I'm inclined to lean towards the ones that have more kind of secular stories behind them. So for me, that's industrials, and that is the AI-linked tech and comm services. I think that regardless of what happens with trade in the next 3 to 6 months, and that could be anything, those sectors have tailwinds that will last multiple years. So I like owning those areas of the market right now.